There you are, baby.
Oh
Enjoy.
my God. Wow.
You happy? Looks good?
I'm happy.
Alright, hello guys. So you asked for a little bit of a cooking vlog, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You asked for it and we will provide. So I'm gonna be making lamb chop stew with some greens and bop. So give you guys a little look at the ingredients. That's the meat I'm gonna be cooking. We got some onion and potato, some bop, and then the greens. Yeah, nice. So we are at the hotel room, so I don't have quite everything I would normally use. I don't have my knife. Normally they give us a knife, but we're gonna be doing this all with a butter knife, okay? They gave us 2 little pots and pans with lids and a cutting board. They gave me that, so that was nice. No knife, but they gave me a cutting board. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is get the water going for the pop. So just about maybe an inch and a half of water. Go ahead and sprinkle my pop in here. So I do pop in 2 stages. First I do thin pop and let it start to cook. And then once that's cooked for maybe 10-15 minutes, I added my second batch of the raw pop to thicken it up. Okay. Next I'm gonna get my pan nice and hot for the pork chops. And I'm gonna sear the pork chops first, and then I'm gonna add my water. So I'm gonna get some water boiling here. Okay. So while I wait for that to boil, I'll give you guys a little overview of what I have here. There's the meat, my 4-burner stove, the kettle. So this is what I'm working with. And there's Hope, waiting for dinner.
This is me. I'm on YouTube. I'm watching YouTube videos and waiting for my beautiful, wonderful man to cook me some good stuff.
She said she was hungry and I needed to start. Get you guys set back up over here. Okay. So our pan is heating up. Our pop is starting to get hot. I'm going to go ahead and cover that. That noise is the kettle. That'll stop soon. Okay, so we're going to give it a little coat of 6 gun. Yeah, looks nice. And then I've got a rule that I follow. No meat goes into a pan unless it goes. It's got to sizzle. So I'm gonna wait for this pan to get decently hot. Getting there. All right. So I'm gonna wait. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna chop an onion. Take the top off. If you guys can see this real good. So I first cut my onions down the center. Okay. So I cut it like that once, not all the way through, and then I'm gonna do 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, well, that was quick. Got a nice dice with a butter knife. Not bad, huh? Not bad. Okay. I think our pan's hot. Let's see if I can get you guys close so you can hear the sizzle. sizzle I was talking about. Yeah, that's what we want. There we go. Give my hands a little wash after touching the meat. Now I'm going to 6-gun the other side. Before I met Hope, I used to use all sorts of seasoning, salt, pepper, cumin, paprika, lots of stuff. And now I just use 6-gun. I use 6-gun for almost everything. I love it. Makes my life easy.
All right, pop the start to steam. Not quite boiling yet though.
So we got our onion chopped, and we are going to
Do the same thing with potato. Do a little wash. Cut it in half first. Gonna get a workout with this butter knife. Once in half. Kind of same thing, I'm gonna cut it into thirds. And then there's it.
Have it. Got my potato nice, got my onion nice. Let's see how our chops are doing. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Look at that nice sear. Locks in the flavor. Even though I'm going to stew this, I always do this first to give it a nice sear. You get a little bit of a crust on it. Just makes the flavor real good. Okay. Little washy wash. All right, Bopper's starting to boil. Give you guys a look at that. Okay, so we're pretty thin still. But this is where I'm going to let it cook at. So now I'm going to let it cook a little bit with the lid off. I think I'm going to do 5 minutes with the lid on. And then I'm going to do about 5-10 minutes with the lid off. And then I'm going to add more pop to thicken it up. I'm going to get a plate here for my pork chops. So I'm going to cook the chops until they're seared on both sides. Then I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to do my onions. Then I'm going to add the water and deglaze the bottom of the pan. So all the seasoning and pork chop meat is going to kind of get stuck to the bottom, and that's what I want. I'm going to take the chops out, put the onions, deglaze with hot water, use the spoon to really scrape all that stuff off at the bottom of the pan, and that's all the flavor. Okay, so we're going try to cut our greens here. Let's see how this goes. That's not too bad.
I thought this butter knife was going to be a struggle. Not too bad. Chop, chop.
Nubbins off. Let's see how our chops are doing. Boom. Onto the plate. Let's see. See, there's a little bit of stuff stuff stuck to the bottom, and that's what we want. So, actually, instead of the onions, I'm gonna go with the greens. We're gonna cook the greens really quick in that pan to get all that pork chop flavor. So it's right in there. Here, let's see if you guys can see this with me. I'm going to add just a bit of water. You hear that? It's nice and hot. So all that stuff at the bottom is going to come off, and that's going to help season our greens. I'll hit it with just a little bit of 6 gun, but not much. I don't have it here, but if I did, I would add vinegar into the greens. Just a little bit, not really so much for flavor. Gives it a little bit of tang, but it helps keep them nice and green. You know, it just looks nice when you put some vinegar in. So we'll stir that 6 gun in. Let's take a look at our bop and see how that's doing. Yeah. See, now it's thickened up enough where it's not shooting all over the place so bad. I think I'll turn down the heat just a bit. And I'll let that cook out for just a few minutes. Okay, and here's our pork chops sitting. Our onions and potatoes are ready to go in when the greens are done. Yeah, I'll put the greens on this plate when they're done. All right, and I think we're kind of at a sit and wait point. That's one of the hardest things about cooking sometimes, is you always want to be doing something, but sometimes you just need to let it do its thing. And I think that's where we're at. We're just gonna let it do its thing for a little bit. Let the pot thicken. Let our greens cook. Maybe we can turn the heat up a little bit on the greens. Yeah, we're just gonna let it set for a bit. So here's where we're at. We got our onions cut, our potatoes cut, our pork chops seared, or lamb chops, I'm sorry, I always say pork chops. Seared on both sides, but these are not cooked. If you can see, they're still quite raw inside. Bop is bopping. I think we are going to add just a bit more now. So this is going to thicken it up. You kind of want to spread it in a thin layer and a little bit at a time so it doesn't get little clumps in it. Little dumplings, pop dumplings if you do it too much. I know this probably seems like I'm making a tiny amount of pop, but it's just me and Hope tonight. We're not feeding an army. This will be enough for our dinner and to have 1 or 2 leftover meals. Excuse my poor mixing, but I'm doing it with one hand here. And our greens, looking pretty close to done. Looking pretty close. Okay, so things have kind of done their thing. I added some raw pop into our porridge here. I added some more cornmeal, maize meal into the pop. I call this pop, we call the finished product pop, I say it's all pop. But the proper terminology is this is maize meal and I'm making pop. I'm learning, guys, I'm learning. really looking a lot thicker now. So that's pretty much, you know, we're pretty close. We just gotta let that cook for maybe 10 minutes now. I think our greens are done. One key step with cooking, and this was big in the restaurants when I worked there, is you gotta taste everything. How are you gonna give somebody food that you haven't even tried? So that tastes pretty good. Doesn't need any more seasoning, so I'm happy with it. We're gonna take it out of the pan. Now if you see the bottom of the pan, there's still some stuff, a little bit of greens, a little bit of seasoning stuck on there, and that's perfect. That's all just flavor. That's exactly what we want. This is kind of what they call one pot cooking. There's a lot less cleanup to do, and you develop all that flavor that you're cooking throughout the meal, and it's gonna make a really good end product. So I'm gonna put my onions in now. I'm not gonna put the potatoes yet. So just onions. We're gonna do a little bit more 6-gun. We got our onions all nice and coated with 6-gun. Got that little bit of flavor developed on the bottom of the pan. So I'm just gonna let that go for maybe 30 seconds here, and then I'm going to deglaze it. I need this spoon to deglaze. Clean it up a little bit. So for deglazing, you want the pan hot, just before it burns. And when you put water into a hot pan like that, it's gonna help everything release off the bottom. That's even a good trick for cleaning. You know, if you really burnt something to the bottom of the pan, heat it up again and then hit it with hot water and scrape with a spoon and it'll all come off. Okay, I think you guys can see this really good. Look at all that brown goodness that's on the bottom of the pan here. I haven't burnt anything, but I got all this nice brown flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off. I'm going to add hot water. You hear that here? It's sizzling. Now I'm gonna deglaze. And it's all gone. Right now, if I dump this out of the pot, the pan's clean. It's ready to go away. Okay. So now we have a clean pan with just onions and a little bit of water and a lot of flavor. I am going to put our lamb chops back in, just whole like that. All that juice on the bottom of the plate, I'm gonna try to get that all in there. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of water. Here, I'll use the hot water. Use hot water, got all that juice off, all into the pot. Okay. Now I'm going to try to show you guys this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna add water until the chops are just covered. And this is a tougher, fattier cut than a pure chop. You know, it's not really a brie chop. This is like a stew chop. Okay, so I'm going to cover now. Give my spoon a little wash. I think our pop is just about done. Yeah, it's starting to get that shine that Hope loves so much. So I think just maybe 2-3 more minutes and pop is done. So we're gonna let those pork chops cook for maybe 20 minutes, just sitting there on a low simmer, let them cook a little bit. And then When we're about 10 minutes from done, we're gonna add our potato. I don't want the potato to overcook and turn to mush, so I'm just gonna let the chops soften up a little bit and cook. So I'm gonna take the pop off and I'm just gonna let this sit. Our greens are done, ready to go. So step 1 is complete. Pop is step 2. You guys might think this is crazy, but at the hotel, they don't give us anything to wash with, really. They give us this giant cloth. I feel like it's more for drying. It's too big to wash with. So what I do, and this is weird, but I save Hope's tea bags, green tea and Rooibos, and give it a nice little scrubby scrub. And they're like disposable little dishcloths, right? Right? I'm excited to see the comments about that if you think it's smart or totally weird. Okay. So pop is done. We're gonna give a nice scoop. So I heard this is a thing that South African kids like, but I love the crunchy pop at the bottom. I didn't get a lot of it this time. But I try to get that all to come off. And all that is for Joshua, because I like it. Nice crunchy texture. So good with chocolate. Okay, so there's our pop pan, pretty clean. I'm big about doing my dishes as I go. I don't like a big pile of dishes left at the end. So I wash as I cook. Dry. All right, let's look at the stew. Okay, so here's where we're at. The stew is simmering. Really right now I'm just waiting for the meat to soften up. It's a tough cut, like I said, so I'm gonna let it soften up a bit. I'm just gonna put the lid on.
And I'm supporting you.
And she is supporting me. There she is. There's beautiful. Uh-oh, blurry. There she is. There she is.
I need you to take something for me. I need your help.
What do you need?
I need you to give me clothes.
Okay. I'll get you clothes.
Give me clothes from our luggage bag.
Okay, we'll
It's
do.
heavy.
We'll do. Here's the pot. Nice and shiny. See the shine? I'm told that's good.
Shiny puff is good puff.
Potatoes haven't gone in yet. They'll go in the last 10 minutes.
I'm impressed.
Nice. So I am employing our lovely camera woman here, and she is going to film the next steps. So here is the stew. It's been sitting for about 20 minutes now, simmering away, getting the meat nice and tender, and we are going to finish it up here. So take it away. So we are going to add our potatoes. They're kind of small, so they won't take too long. Put them right in there. Simmer, let the potatoes cook. It's hard to see maybe, but the meat is not fall apart, but it's nice and tender that we can still, eat it like a piece of meat and it's not gonna fall all apart. And here's the crazy part we're gonna do that you guys might not have seen. So we are going to take our maize meal and we're gonna use that like soup to thicken the stew. So, like I said before, the important part here is to put it on real thin. So you want to sprinkle it in because we really don't want to get little pop chunks in here. We don't want dumplings. We want a stew. So we're going to take that. We're going to stir it in. Again, just sprinkle it on there. And if you guys haven't tried this, you'll be shocked by how well it works. It really makes it from a soup to a stew. It helps thicken it up nicely. And I actually learned this by mistake. I was cooking over a campfire and we didn't have a bunch of ingredients and all I had was maize meal. And I thought, you know, maybe this'll thicken. And sure enough, it did a good job. It doesn't thicken right away, and you don't want to add too much. So far I've added 4 pinches, you know, pretty big fat pinches, but you don't want to go overboard or you will just have a really thick mess. Okay, so you can already see, and this is just 30 seconds after adding it, that it's thickened up quite a bit. But as this simmers and it incorporates a bit more, this will really thicken up to a nice stew. So we're just about done. We're gonna let this sit for another about 5 minutes, and then it'll be ready to eat. All right, so we are all done and ready to eat. Let me bring Hope her food. There you are, baby. Enjoy.
Oh my God! Wow.
You happy? Looks good?
I'm happy.
How's it
Looks
smell?
wonderful. It smells wonderful.
Great.
Thank you, Mom.
You are welcome, baby.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm gonna have it, but
It's eating time. There's my food. And we are ready to eat.
so we're gonna pray.
Let's pray.
For the food we are about to receive, God, may you make us truly grateful. Please bless the hands that prepared for us and ask for God in it in Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
I'm using my hands, by the way. Just like using the fork.
It's my culture.
Wow,
That is very good.
that's some good stuff.
South African greens are the best. We picked these up on the road on our way here, and it was 10 rand? Yeah, 10 rand for so much, and it's so fresh and nice. You can't find that in the US.